And I would do this all while attempting to commune with, rejoin with, celebrate the base, vulgar, and pure animal part of myself. Just as modernism's logical conclusion has to be socialism while ironically relying on and feeding on the construction of an elite class, so my paintings and the art of my time could only pretend to culminate in anarchy, while strangely enough, not ironically, only strangely, finding it impossible to exist without markets and well-defined cliques and order. I have finally circled about, hovered, loitered enough to recognize that my only criterion for the worth of a painting is whether I like looking at it. I no longer say that this painting is good or bad. It might be sentimental, it might be bright, it might be muddy, it might be cliche, but it is neither good nor bad. Do I like looking at it? That is all I ask. That is all I now answer. I walk the hills behind my house happy because I have learned this. I learned it as I turned my life into a camera obscura, putting a pinhole in one side of my world and letting the scene outside come to me upside down, but with accurate perspective. I was feeling rather smug thinking this and enjoying a cup of tea when I saw a head bounce by a window of my studio, and I stepped outside. There was a young woman standing in my drive. She was of medium height, a little heavy, her head reddish hair and short curls. Gregory Lang? I nodded. My name is Meg Caro, she said, and she stepped forward to shake my hand. What can I do for you? You're a painter, right? Some say. I'm a painter too, at least I want to be. I want to be your apprentice. She stood straighter. This is not the Middle Ages, I said. You're intern then. I've never seen your work. I don't know you. You might be dangerous. For all I know, I'm dangerous. I don't take on apprentices or interns. I have some photographs of my paintings. I don't care. I'm flattered, but I don't care. Please look at them. I looked down the dirt lane and wished my wife would drive in, but she wouldn't be home for another couple of hours. What will it hurt to look? She asked. You say your name is Meg Caro. How old are you, Meg Caro? 22, she said. That's old enough to know better than to visit a strange man all alone. I know. Where are you from, Meg Caro? Miami. Let me see the pictures. She opened her backpack and handed me a ring binder. I opened it but couldn't see. I'll have to get my glasses, I said. They're on your head. Thanks. I looked at the pictures of her paintings. These are pretty good. I studied at the Art Institute of Chicago. That should help me like the paintings more? No, I just thought. I had stepped on her a bit, so I said, I like the work. Of course, you can only tell so much from photographs. The paintings were young, not uninteresting, and nice enough to look at. Photographs are flat. Oh, I know, she said. I studied her broad face for a second. Come in here, I said, and I led her into my studio. See that big painting on the wall? I had a 10 by 12 foot canvas nailed up. Tell me what you think. I like parts of it, she said. It reminds me of another of your paintings, that really big one in Philadelphia. Somehow this seems like two paintings. I stood next to her and stared at the work. The underpainting seems somehow warmer on the left side. Is there some blue under there? Maybe some Indian yellow? And she stepped back, leaned back. Her movements were confident, perhaps a little cocky. Would you like some tea? I asked. Please. I went to the sink and put more water into my little battered electric pot. I glanced back to see that the woman was walking around the room looking at the drawings and notes and canvases. What is this painting about? I studied her young face and looked at the canvas until she turned to view it again with me. This painting is about blue and yellow, sometimes yellow and blue. Do you think it's about more than that? She didn't say anything. Are you always so neat? She asked. I didn't know I was. I'd asked you what kind of tea you like, but I have only one kind. That's fine. It's Lipton. That's fine. Are your parents still in Miami? I asked. My mother is. Does she know you're here? I'm 22 years old. Oh, I forgot. I poured water into a mug and dropped it in a bag, handed it to her. She took it and blew on it. She told me she really loved my work, and I thanked her, and together we looked at what was on the walls and floor. Then I said, I don't have a need for an intern. You wouldn't have to pay me, she said. I didn't even think of that, I told her. There's really nothing around here for you to help me with. I just want to be around while you work. As flattering as that is, I find it a little weird. I looked at her and became nervous, if not a little frightened. Maybe you should leave now. Okay, I didn't mean to come off as a stalker. All right, I believe you, but still you have to leave. I understand. Will you think about it, though? And she put her mug on the table and started for the door. Thanks for stopping by, I said. This is supposed to be my story, the story that I'm supposed to write or would write if I were a writer. What's this? Who is Gregory Lang? Well, you're Gregory Lang. That's who you would be if you wrote, or you should write if you wrote. You really are dumb. I don't write. And who's Meg Carroll? I imagine she's a daughter you don't know about. I see. Why don't you admit you're working again? I don't know. Maybe I am working again. Tell everybody I'm working again. Doctor said he'll kill me, but he didn't say when. Lord have mercy, I'm working again. If I could, I'd get up and do a little jig to that. I love that line. Doctor said he'd kill me, but he didn't say when. Did you know that a camera is just a box with a little hole in it, he said. As a matter of fact, I did know that, Dad. Dad, why all this writing for me, I asked him. Why don't you just write it yourself? I'm 80 years old. What do I have to say to people now? And people my age, well, all they read is prescription labels. That's not quite true, nor is it quite false. Listen, you've got a plastic facile. I didn't mean to say facile. Strong mind, I said. Well, try to wrap your fist around that in the morning. Dad, do you realize that I'm dead? Well, yes, son, I do. What I wasn't aware of is that you knew it.